Some stories are too strange to believe, but too terrifying to forget. What happened to the Bell family in the early 1800s is one such tale. It's not just folklore, it's one of America's most infamous paranormal cases. The haunting of the Bell family wasn't just ghostly, it was personal, violent, and malevolent. What was the Bell Witch? And why did she torment this family until their lives were left in ruin? This is the true story of the Bell Witch haunting. In 1804, John Bell and his family settled in Adams, Tennessee, seeking a peaceful life on their farmland. At first, everything seemed perfect. The land was fertile, the family prospered, and their farm grew. But the peace wouldn't last for long. By 1817, strange things began happening, and the Bell family found themselves living a nightmare. One evening, John spotted a peculiar creature, a large animal with the body of a dog, but with disturbingly human-like eyes. When he raised his gun to shoot, the creature vanished into thin air. This marked the beginning of something much more sinister. Not long after the strange encounter, eerie phenomena began to plague the Bell home. The children reported hearing tapping sounds coming from inside the walls, but no one could find the source. Night after night, the disturbances grew worse. Blankets were pulled off their beds, pillows were thrown across the room, and soft whispers echoed through the air. It was as if someone or something was watching them. The youngest daughter, Betsy, was particularly targeted by the entity. She would wake up covered in bruises, and on several occasions, the family witnessed her being slapped by unseen hands. What started as small disturbances escalated into terrifying physical attacks. The Bell family wasn't just dealing with a typical haunting. Soon, the presence began speaking. At first, it was only incoherent whispers, but over time, the voice grew clearer. It identified itself as Kate, a spirit claiming to have been wronged by the Bell family. Kate, or the Bell Witch, as she would come to be known, seemed to harbor a special hatred for John Bell and Betsy. The spirit tormented John endlessly, calling him cruel names and mocking him whenever he was alone. It was as if the entity wanted to break him, mentally and physically. As word of the haunting spread, curious neighbors and townspeople visited the Bell home, hoping to witness the paranormal activity. To everyone's shock, the Bell Witch was more than willing to put on a show. Visitors reported hearing the voice sing hymns, quote the Bible, and even reveal secrets about their own lives. It knew things no one else could. The witch seemed to thrive on fear and attention. It delighted in humiliating guests and sowing distrust among friends. But its cruelty toward John and Betsy only grew worse. As months passed, John Bell's health began to deteriorate. He suffered from violent seizures, and the witch seemed to take pleasure in his suffering, taunting him daily. According to the spirit, John's death was inevitable. It was her purpose, her goal. She swore that she would kill him. In December of 1820, John Bell was found dead in his bed. Next to him lay a mysterious vial filled with a dark, unknown liquid. The witch claimed responsibility for his death, cackling that she had finally succeeded. When the liquid was tested on the family's cat, the animal died instantly. The Bell Witch had made good on her sinister promise. Even after John Bell's death, the witch didn't leave the family in peace. During the funeral, as mourners gathered to say their final goodbyes, the Bell Witch's sinister voice rang out, laughing and singing hymns in mockery. It was as if her victory over John was only the beginning of something much darker. Betsy, the youngest daughter, was never able to escape the torment. The witch had taken a particular interest in destroying her happiness, and the closer she got to her wedding day, the more the attacks intensified. Invisible hands yanked at her hair, leaving bruises on her arms, and her nights were plagued by nightmares that felt all too real. The witch's malice extended beyond the Bell family, targeting Joshua Gardner, Betsy's fiancé. Joshua often heard disembodied voices calling his name when he walked through the woods near the Bell home. He felt cold fingers brush against his neck, though no one was there. As the wedding day approached, the witch's fury grew more violent. Betsy's health declined, and she knew the witch would never allow her to find peace in marriage. Broken by the relentless torment, Betsy ended her engagement to Joshua. The witch's voice cackled with glee the moment Betsy's decision was made, as if she had won yet another victory over the family's happiness. It seemed that whatever this spirit was, it thrived on misery, fear, and broken dreams. The Bell Witch's presence eventually began to fade, but she left the family with a chilling promise. She would return in 7 years. In 1828, 7 years after John Bell's death, strange phenomena were indeed reported once again. Several members of the Bell family heard tapping sounds, witnessed objects moving on their own, and felt a cold, eerie presence lingering in the house. One night, John Bell Jr., the eldest son, claimed to have seen a shadowy figure in his room. It whispered in a familiar voice, "I told you I'd return." The Bell Witch seemed to fulfill her dark promise, though her second haunting was far less violent. After a few weeks of minor disturbances, the presence disappeared again, but not without leaving another warning. Before vanishing, the Bell Witch left a prophecy. She would return once more, this time 107 years later. Whether she did return remains a mystery, though strange events have been reported around the Bell farm ever since. Today, the Bell Witch legend lives on. The Bell farm no longer stands, but a nearby cave, known as the Bell Witch Cave, has become a focal point for those curious about the paranormal. Visitors to the cave report strange noises, sightings of shadow figures, and an overwhelming sense of dread that lingers in the air. Paranormal investigators have spent years attempting to uncover the truth behind the Bell Witch haunting. Some have reported sudden equipment malfunctions, unexplained temperature drops, and disembodied voices, just like those the Bell family described over 2 centuries ago. One investigator recalled hearing a clear whisper in the cave, "Leave this place." Others reported being touched by invisible hands or seeing fleeting shadows dance along the walls. For some, the cave is more than just a historical curiosity. It is a place where the Bell Witch still lingers, waiting for the next visitor to step too close. Even now, the story of the Bell Witch haunts the small town of Adams, Tennessee. Locals warn that the land is still cursed, and some say they've heard whispers in the woods late at night. Whispers that sound like a woman's voice, carrying a message from the past. Whether it was a vengeful spirit, a curse born from old grudges, or something far more sinister, the Bell Witch haunting remains one of the most unsettling paranormal stories in American history. It is a reminder that some spirits never rest, and that the past has a way of reaching into the present.